wanna take roll call, Teresa?
Sure. Brenneman?
Yes.
Keel?
Here.
Monahan?
Here.
Horn?
Here.
Nelson?
Here.
Jones?
Here.
And Manning is absent with notice.
Alrighty, any additions to the agenda? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as set.
So moved. I'll second. I'm just jumping.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved minutes from the previous meeting, 4/14.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Arden,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
and I'm gonna abstain. Special meeting 4/12.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Second reading ordinance 642, amend city council and mayoral compensation. Anybody care to make a motion for second reading?
Make a motion to approve, second reading, ordinance 642. Second.
Any discussion? No changes, Teresa, since the last reading?
No changes yet.
Any more discussion? Scott?
Yes.
Ryan?
No.
Travis?
Yes.
Arden?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
I apologize, I was looking at something else. Was, who motioned and seconded that? Last one?
I made the motion.
Okay,
I second. Travis second.
thank you, sorry.
She was pointing out to me, we do need to make an addition to the agenda. We don't have bills on there.
The ones you're signing aren't on there to be approved.
Okay,
Can we go back on that?
yeah, let's just do it now.
Make a motion to amend the agenda to include bills for payment, or submit bills for payment?
Second.
I have a question about that.
Okay,
So since it wasn't on the posted agenda, can we take action on that? Cause I don't think we
I
can.
don't think we can.
so then do we wait till the next meeting to send out payments?
I,
Likely have to.
Okay,
do we have to wait or not?
I think we do have, you know, that policy in place that anything that has to be paid can be
Yeah.
prepaid. So if, we'll look through the bills, if any of them are gonna miss a due date, we'll get those sent out because, signed and sent out because those are
Yeah.
okay. The rest of them will wait till we put it on the next agenda.
He wants to wait on this, then sign it at the next.
I think so, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I apologize, that's my fault. I didn't even,
I just
No,
noticed
so
it, you know,
my second.
cause you kept going and
I
I
said,
said,
we'll
wait a
just
minute.
strike all that.
We'll strike that, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all we're
we-
gonna have to do since it was supposed on the agenda. I'll put it on the next agenda, and then, like I said, anything that we would miss a deadline on, we'll be able to go ahead and
Yeah,
send,
'cause
because
that
we do
all-
have that policy in place that if a deadline is crucial, we can go ahead and prepay out,
Yeah,
you
cause
know.
all that was covered back in October of 15, right? Or November, whenever that was.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we
We
could pay
passed that
bills
quite a while
without.
ago. Yep, we can pay bills that
In
are a
case-
necessity or need to immediate attention, we can
Yeah.
pay bills.
Yes, we did approve
So that we don't incur, you
Yeah.
know.
So-
So we passed that policy, so we'll look through and like I said, anything that has a deadline that we'll miss before the
So
next
we'll,
one.
so we'll have bills at the first meeting and
Yeah,
Yeah, to
Yeah.
approve those, yeah.
yeah, that's mine, sorry about that.
we'll put that on the agenda for the first meeting in May, and then we'll have the regular bills second meeting in May.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
All right,
We'll just write
special events permit, National Day of Prayer.
Make a motion to approve.
I'd second that.
We're gonna waive the fee.
You wanna add that to your motion, Travis? If not, I'll pay the
For
fee.
nonprofits and religious organizations.
I'll amend my motion to include waiving the application fee for the special events permit.
I'll
Second.
I'll still second.
You gotta give it to Art.
I will, yeah.
Any discussion? Mark?
Yep.
Arden?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Report, city engineer, Mr. Brown, take it away.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief. Mickelson Road project's progressing really well. The design of the project, from the street and utility standpoint is really, has come together for the most part. We really, we have to tie in the wetlands right now and as far as the drainage model and the drainage analysis, that's really the controlling item right now with the wetlands and things like that. That project's really coming together well. We had to, and I don't know if Mitch had shared this with you at the last meeting, when we were evaluating a box culvert versus a short bridge, we do need to evaluate that closer, just due to the sheer size of the number of boxes we needed for the drainage to get that through there. So we're in that process right now of analyzing the bridge versus a box culvert. So that's our next kind of our big hurdle to get through that process internally and with your staff to kind of work through the details of that, and then we'll keep you posted each meeting as we go forward with that. So, but for the most part, really, just so you know, the water, sewer, utilities have really been mapped out, laid out on a design from a design standpoint, and we really just need to bring the detail together now. So it's really progressing well. So.
Is that-
expect,
Go ahead.
when can we expect final designs and bid?
It's still a while out because the bridge and the wetland mitigation, the wetland issues and the flood stuff are the controlling items on that. The drainage analysis and things like that. So our schedule was as originally proposed, but my point is we're getting all the detail done up the front. And so the drainage analysis is what's gonna tail behind along with the bridge.
What is
What's your
Clomar? What is a Clomar?
A conditional letter of map revision, and so we have to go through that process with FEMA, and that bridge was part of the next year's part of that project anyway, if you remember. That was gonna be one of the delayed items. Well, one of the things we were doing now is getting the grading and utilities done as part of phase one.
Right.
That bridge is something that's tailing behind because that's one of those reasons. But we do feel that we're gonna have to go through that FEMA process now with the conditional letter of map revision, which is something that has to be done, part of the flood study that we're doing as part of the
Okay,
project.
okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. I looked at that and I thought, yeah, it's gotta have something to do with it.
Yeah. Vandemark Avenue, the
Stop it, John.
questions you got?
On the box versus bridge, is that erosion versus cost issue or?
No, it's cost.
Cost.
Surely cost, yeah. I mean, right now, the analysis that we had, depending on what geometrics we were looking at for the box culverts that were needed in there, we may need 4 to 5 box culverts, which is, it gets very costly when we start going that many boxes side by side, so it really becomes more cost effective to look at a bridge, and that's what we had said in our original proposal, was to look at a bridge, compare a bridge with a box culvert, and due to the sheer size of that, we feel we're gonna end up with a bridge in that situation, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with our friends, just to the, just
We'll
to the west
see,
of there, huh?
well, that's a good point, we would definitely wanna look at that closer, just
Yeah.
because they are close by, so they'll probably, but when we get into that comparing, we're looking at the preliminary design now, we'll compare those costs and, really, zero in on
Okay.
that a lot closer when we get into that preliminary bridge design, so.
Thank you.
John, one question I've been asked by some of the people, my neighbors out there on the street, just east of my place, so where it starts rising.
Okay.
On
I'm not sure
Pat-
where you're at.
Gravel starts.
Okay,
On-
yep,
on
yep,
Mickelson.
Yep,
Yep.
okay.
At the backside of that cul-de-sac
Yep,
that's
yep.
right behind me. How much of that is gonna be dug down, or is the water gonna run west, east, what are you thinking?
Top of the hill, from about, just past that driveway to the lagoons, our lagoon site, you know,
Okay.
from there back to the west will drain west. From the top of the hill east will go east,
Okay,
okay? And the drainage is gonna be, we're gonna be bringing storm sewer up to capture that runoff,
okay,
okay, from the east end. So basically down at the creek, we're gonna be bringing storm sewer up the project as part of the project. So
okay.
that was the red lines on your exhibits. If you look at those exhibits over there, there should be a red line that starts kind of right at, Scott, if you wanna point, right there, okay? And then you can see a red line that goes west. That actually starts at the bottom, no,
West.
the other west.
Left.
I know where west is, but it's going that way.
The red line, it should be coming west up there.
Oh, you're talking right here.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is, we're gonna extend storm sewer. Here, let me show you real quick. We're gonna extend storm, yes, up to there. Okay, let me just real quick show you guys, there's box culverts here that are gonna be likely a bridge, okay? There's a red line right here. That red line is really a connection of all the storm sewer that's gonna come all the way up to here. So there's a hill, what you're talking about is
Yeah,
right
right
here.
past my place, yeah.
From here west goes this way, from here goes this way. And it's really, actually, it looks like it's about at the intersection, real close to the, between these two streets.
Okay,
This is where the top goes one way and the other goes the other way,
okay,
okay? So generally where the top of the hill is, we try to keep it really close to that, just so we're not impacting
right,
a drainage basin or the other,
okay,
okay?
yeah.
So that part of the design is really come together well. If we wouldn't have the bridge and some of these other Clomar, that's what usually has a tendency to delay things. The Vandermark Avenue project, just to give you an update on where we're at with that, the field crews have been out there doing the survey work. They should be done. They should be done with that. I'm not sure.
They went out there today.
Were they? So that should be getting close. Once they're done with that, we'll draft that up and then, start looking at, the preliminary grades and design of that. So I don't know if you guys have talked over these exhibits at all, Teresa, with them at all? You guys had asked us a couple meetings ago to kind of figure out, did you guys go over that?
We went over
Okay.
yeses and nos and that.
Okay,
There's presented.
the estimated
Couple
yeses and
meetings
nos, the estimated yeses and no, that's just an estimate, educated guess, so I don't need to go over that again, is that right? Okay. But that's where we're at on that, we'll progress in the preliminary, plans and whatnot with that, so that we can get some good cost estimates. Wastewater study, we've got a draft, Mitch is trying to set up a meeting, I think now with you guys.
Thursday.
Thursday to go over that. I talked to Ryan quite a bit about this, and I've been involved with the wastewater study on that, especially on the wastewater treatment side. It's time to, from a treatment plant side of things, it's time to start planning, we got another 4 to 6 years before, our lagoons are, overwhelmed and overloaded. Basically, Craig's gonna have to watch it a lot closer now, simply because we're gonna have to discharge more often now, as we get closer to the population up to that 4,500 or 4,400 people. That's when the design was originally planned to get us to, which was a 20-year plan. We're at about 18 now. I think we got 5 to 6 years left of that if we watch it really close. We really gotta pay attention to our discharges and do discharge as often as we can, basically over the next 5 years. But bottom line on the sewer study, we're recommending to start moving forward with planning of what you're gonna do with your treatment going forward, and that's part of our study, and that's part of what we've done. We've looked at the collection system and the treatment side on the study, and I think that's a good report, and we've planned well over the past years, and I think you'll see that, in our future plans are gonna be, exciting to me, because we're growing and we've grown and we've grown, so it's really a good thing, so. On the wastewater study, and then once Mitch and our guys go over that with Teresa And Craig will sit down and do a presentation to you guys too, so you understand what we're talking about. Okay? The Mike Franken Trail, you know, is that a typo? Is that still supposed to be on here? I don't
It's not done yet. It's not done.
That's a good
I
one.
don't think that's supposed to be on here.
Yes.
It's
According to
crazy.
Monahan, it's not.
It's not, it's crazy that that's still on here. This is a perfect example of,
We're getting closer.
yeah, it is. It's getting closer, but, you know, that's, the archaeological survey, my understanding is they were out here today, or
I
they're
thought
supposed to be out
it
here
was supposed to
today.
be this week, I'm not sure
Yeah.
if it was today, but they're supposed
They
to,
were-
that's supposed to be the last piece before
Yeah,
they
last
did.
piece before they
bid.
can finalize their archaeological stuff.
Yeah.
Course account, slurry seal bids, they're in, I'll let Craig talk a little bit about that, cause I really don't have the details on that. We've been, reviewing a couple of sets of plans, and, Turtle Creek preliminary plan review, we went through some stuff on that, and then also Kelly Point preliminary plan review. So some incidental items there on the force account side of things, so. Any questions?
Drawing a blank on the Barker edition and Turtle Creek.
So the Barker edition is those 6 lots for those 4 plexes that Brian Weisman is putting
Gotcha.
up. They platted out and they called that the Barker edition.
Gotcha, okay.
The Turtle Creek preliminary plan, that's Sam Asson's. And we're still in the review process of that, nothing settled on it. Kelly Point preliminary plan went to P and Z last night, they've reviewed it, stock knows everything looks okay, and it'll come before you guys at your next meeting.
Barker is the one that we just rezoned, correct?
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
Is this Kelly Point, is this the last phase?
That's the 7 acres along Mickelson with
Yeah.
the 2 cul-de-sacs that he's gonna do, yep,
And the 300 feet and
Yep.
down the gate?
Yep.
it's that piece of ground.
Anybody else got anything, John? All right, thanks, John. Craig, Public Works report.
I'll just kind of hit some of the highlights here too. Did get together with Travis from DOT, or talked to me the other day. Contractor was finishing up, he's found a few little issues with them, he's gonna put together a price, turn into them to get them fixed. Like I said, they're covering the costs on that. Been getting most of the equipment put away, wrapped up for after snow removal, get everything cleaned up, greased up and put away. Met with Mike Smith here last week, and I met with him again today to get the boulevard trees out. He's gonna start planting them actually, Thursday or Friday this week, he's hoping to just get started, so. He'll work on those for probably a couple weeks before he gets them all put in, but. Along with, trees, we'll be giving a 3rd grade class on 28th, we'll be giving them trees, Black Hills Blue Spruce, we've done that for years. We talked a little about Arbor Day and about the Black Hills Blue Spruce and that, and then, hand out trees to them, so. We'll be getting those next week sometime, we'll get them probably Wednesday, and we'll get them all, we individually package them and wrap the roots and everything, so they have a better chance of making it home, so.
In the past, I seem to remember requesting, asking, delegating, whatever the word might be, a representative of the city council to be part of this event. Is that happening?
More than welcome.
Okay. I mean,
So far, it's been
Well,
me
hand
and
it
Terry.
over.
So far, it's been me and Terry. Used to be mayor and a council member that would do it. Then it was the mayor and myself, and then it was myself and Terry.
I remember Leah volunteering for
Me and Terry
it.
have been pretty much with us.
One man band, 2-man band, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, if any of the council members or anything wanna do it, it's 3 o'clock on Friday, and we hand out trees to them, so. If anybody's interested, just get a hold of me ahead of time. If nobody gets a hold of me, I'll grab Terry and we'll go hand out trees again, so. The slurry seal project, I did, at our wastewater, the streets, meeting we had down here in, Oklahoma last week. One of the reps from, Intermountain Slurry Seal was there. Met with him, visited with him about, different, we got a couple little spots I wanna do some skin coating on, to kinda get that water pushed back into the gutters, like on 7th Street and a little bit on 6th Street there. He said, no problem, just give him some quantities and numbers, and I said, we'll work with him. We're gonna be well below our budget limit, but I just got some small little issues I just wanna get addressed before they get worse, so. Otherwise, equipment, we got a little bit of work to do on the payloader, just cylinder on the steering column's bad, so you can't adjust the steering column on it, and then, backup beeper on both maintainer and the payloader acting up, so we're gonna replace those. Along with streets, there is a grant again from Department of Ag for mosquitoes. Applied every year that they have it, I always ask for about 11,000, I get between 4 and 5 usually, so. So we'll ask again for around 11, 12 and see what they give us. Water and sewer, like John said, been doing a lot of monitoring out there. We thought the pH was coming down, we were able to discharge with our pH limits, but we took TSS, BODs, ammonia, and ammonia jumped way up on us. So we are probably gonna be stuck with the water now until probably fall or early winter, so. We'll keep checking it throughout the summer and that, just to see where we're at with pH, kind of monitor that more than anything. Once we get out of this wet season, we'll start to actually hold our own or start to lose some water from evaporation, so. I feel pretty comfortable right now, we're in pretty good shape, we got 2 ponds that are pretty low, so. Quarterly reports, I'll be filling those out, I just got the paperwork here the other day, so I'll get them filled out and sent in, so quarterly reports will be done for DNR. South Dakota Warren, I'll talk about that in just a little bit. And park and pool, getting parks, Terry's got parks looking pretty good. Bathrooms have been open, we've already had some vandalism in them, broke some soap dispensers.
Already?
So we might have to, like we were talking to Teresa here the other day, if we end up doing some type of camera system for dump site or something like that, we might wanna look at incorporation one where we can have different sites throughout town that we monitor, so.
Jeez.
I don't even think they're open a week and they already busted the soap dispensers off, and we've got an idea of what the kids look like, that's all we know, we don't know.
I turned names in today.
You got names?
I turned names into them today.
Okay. So maybe we can start putting some into some of this right away. Chemical building, Neil's been working on that, along with Terry, trying to get that, they're changing the roof line on that and matching with the other building that's there. And then his summertime stuff is what I got on mine. I guess we go to South Dakota Warren first. One of our things at the street conference was, I had them put on our training was South Dakota Warren. It's actually not a street thing, it's a water and wastewater agreement between the cities and that. It's been around, they started in 2008 in South Dakota, it's been around the United States for quite a few years. Every state in the United States is a member of it except for Mississippi. Out of all the entities in South Dakota, there's like 69 cities that are a member of it, and there's 113 total between rural waters and some private ones. In order to be a member of Warren, you have to have, you either have to have an EPA number or a permit number for wastewater, so we're allowed to do it as a city. I've looked into it quite a few years ago, and we just kind of haven't really got aggressive with it, and at this time I'd like to kind of pursue it a little bit more, either look into it, see if you guys want to. I think it's a good thing. We did talk to Larry, he looked at the agreement, he thought it was fine. He said there's some wording in there he'd like to see change, but he said as long as these other cities are all on board with it, and I could pass around the list of cities, it's Sioux Falls is on it, Harrisburg, I mean, just the ones around Canton, Madison, Vermillion, yeah, it's small towns, big towns that are in here. And what it is, it's an agreement between entities that if there was a disaster in Harrisburg and they needed pumps or generators or backhoes or something like that, they put out a request, and if a city wants to furnish them something, they sign it, they basically already got the agreement signed, but they work out the details, whether yeah, we're gonna bring you a backhoe over personnel to run it. You don't have to get paid for it, you can get paid for it, it's all up to the city of how they wanna do that. You don't have to send anything, you can just say, sorry, at this time, we need to keep our equipment here in our own town. On the other hand, if we'd have a disaster here, we put a request on it, we could maybe get people from Rapid City hauling equipment out here to us. It's a mutual agreement amongst all the communities, and it's also, there is also a connection between the states too with this, because it's nationwide basically, so. It doesn't cost anything to join, it's just a matter of signing an agreement saying that we'd like to be part of this contract with them.
Is that just can I ask, is that just an emergency situation, or?
It
'Cause
can
my
be,
understanding is
it
you
can-
could use,
yeah, it can be anytime, I mean, it doesn't have to be an emergency, it's just basically an agreement saying that, you know, if we need some equipment, that
Yeah.
most of that's more just local agreement between the other cities, but this is more basic on emergency response, but it can be used in other ways, so.
You said, Canton was
Yeah,
one of the cities?
yeah.
What was, Larry's, just curious, what was Larry's comments about some of the wording?
A lot of it was, with the way they vote members and stuff like that. Trying to think what else. There was-
Stuff that-
Yeah, when it got all said and done, he said the contracts wrote good, he said just some simple little, to clarify things, he said, we know what they mean, but it doesn't really spell it out.
Okay, so he's
For-
looking for something for them to clarify, basically.
Yeah,
in the contract.
yeah. Like I said, I got a list here, two of all the towns and stuff that are involved, and there's quite a few of them.
Are you looking for a motion to join, or are you looking?
I guess I'd like to see the city of Hartford join
Okay.
South Dakota War, yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
It's good to me, I'd just, like to see Larry take a look at it and have his input as well, I guess, if we need that in motion.
Yeah, Larry's already read through, he's already read through
And he
it all.
said it looks okay.
Yeah, I talked to him today, just before I got off work, and he said, I'm behind it if you wanna go forward. So-
And okay.
And they're not gonna change just because we.
Yeah, they're not gonna change the wording because he doesn't like
Okay,
it.
I guess I was.
Pretty much.
This is about the same,
Yeah,
yeah, this is the same agreement that they use nationwide.
well, I didn't think they would change it, I just, you said he was gonna clarify.
One other thing Larry did said, you know, make sure, check with our insurance company that if our like work comp insurance, if our guys got hurt or whatnot, I did check with them. And I just heard back from our liability insurance, and our insurance is still good. If we would send under our authority, our workers over there, our equipment over there to help, we still got insurance coverage, so.
Because we entered this agreement, we're
Right.
authorizing.
We
our
enter
people
and
to
you're
go.
authorizing it, yeah, so they're still covered, because they're basically still working for the
That's
city.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
And this would give you, Craig, the authority to say yes or no?
Well, that's the next thing, we'd have to sign the basic agreement, and Larry said you could either have, president and the mayor sign it, or he said Teresa could probably sign it, and I could sign this here part of it.
I'm sorry, what I'm saying is if Harrisburg calls up and says,
Yeah.
we need you,
And that's where we'll sign, you have to fill out this other contract thing, and that's basically giving me the authority or whatever, to say, yeah, we can let the equipment go, or no, we can't, or we need equipment. And instead of getting together with the council, that I can run through with it. There's a primary and a secondary contact on this here form too.
This doesn't look, this looks like this is all based on reimbursement, isn't it?
No, it can be reimbursable.
Like I said, there's a covenant that we can get reimbursed
Yeah.
for our man hours and
But
for our equipment.
It's up to, if Harrisburg needs equipment, we'll tell them, yeah, we'll let it go, but we need reimbursement for fuel, man hours, or equipment rental. And if they don't
Well-
like the agreements, they don't have to, I mean, they can say, well, we'll keep looking, or we could say, you know, we'll borrow the equipment out, we'd just like to see it full of fuel, or, you know, would send somebody out.
Damages.
the other thing this would allow you is if FEMA declared a disaster and there's FEMA money, then we can
Yep.
submit for payment from FEMA. We
Yeah,
wouldn't
they said-
necessarily have to negotiate rates before you leave, this
Yeah,
just gives us an ability to collect if there's funds available.
Yeah,
Or you could say, we gotta have this, or
Yeah.
we're not coming.
yeah, that's all in there about how you can bill out and how you can do that, and whether you want me, like I said, it's completely up to the entity what they wanna do, if they wanna even let the equipment go over there.
Yeah, we don't even have to respond to requests if we don't want to, or if we need it.
call the vote?
One last question. So would you just seek, I mean, who would you bounce that off of? If you had a request, Teresa, the mayor?
I guess that's
Obviously
up to
not
you
the
guys.
council, we've agreed to it, so we're gonna let you do it in-house here, but was it just Craig's decision?
I would be talking with Teresa and just say, here's what's going on, you know, I'm gonna be sending some equipment out, or we've got this going on, we need some equipment, you know, so.
Well, see, and there's a $1 million question, because I don't know, short of the council, if Craig, I mean, I don't know, does Craig have the authority to send equipment to Canton on Hartford taxpayer dime?
With reimbursement, yes.
What about that?
That's a good point.
Does Craig have the authority to loan out to another city personnel and city equipment? Because I don't think he does.
I think if the council would say it is okay, they would have that.
We approve this.
We approved this,
Outside
we
of
said
agreement,
yes.
agreement's a
Agreement, then he.
give that if you're gonna have that in your motion.
But that's two different, isn't that two different conversations though? Whether we approve the agreement and whether we approve Craig the authority to implement how he sees fit?
I think it should be a couple different motions, yeah, I think if you wanna be going for it, do that. And then you guys can make a motion, decide who you want to be the.
Yeah, being a member is one thing, how to implement it is totally different.
And if you wanna talk about that and do that at a later date, that's fine, we don't even have to do this tonight, I mean, if you guys wanna discuss it.
Well, if the intent is to become a member, let's do that, and let's talk about how we put it into motion at a later meeting.
Yeah, we can add that to the next agenda as far as who
Okay.
authorizes it.
And the current motion just is to join, it doesn't include any of that.
But and that's gonna, whatever that opinion is, that's gonna evolve as the council evolves, because you're gonna have a council that
Yeah,
has a great deal of faith in you, that you're not gonna send half of our equipment to Rapid City, and then you're gonna have a council that, doesn't want anybody to make that decision except for them, so that's gonna have to be a revolving.
yeah, that's why I came to you guys, a couple weeks ago, helping the school out with stuff and that,
Yeah.
cause that's what the agreement was. with
All right, any more discussion about joining South Dakota Warren? And only that aspect. All right, Harvey,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
And the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is authorization to, I guess, part-time guys in the summertime, send them after fuel, after up to the building center for paintbrushes and that. Usually if we get stuff in Sioux Falls and we send them to run and pick stuff up, I authorize it or Neil will authorize it on the phone and we'll have the parts laying out. But I guess I'd like to have, because right now, I guess we can't, since they're not on the charge, they can't go up and fill gas cans up, or they can't. So right now, Terry got to run every day, run and fill gas cans, or every other day. Same like going to building center or something like that to pick up cans of paint or paintbrushes and stuff like that. I mean, it'd be one of those things that they're not just gonna have free will to go up there and get the paintbrush and paint, something like that. They'll have to be, we'll have to be the ones telling them, yeah, go up and get some paintbrushes and do this, do that, so. It'd still be through us, just we're not gonna be the ones running up, picking it up. I guess that's what I'd like to see.
Does the city have a PO or a job costing
We don't
system?
use POs, we just use our names itself, and then we go up, when we check through,
Basically, when they go to the
Receipts,
building
that's
center, they sign the receipt when they pick something up,
What it's
you know,
for, yeah.
who picked it up, and Audra can match up the receipts then against the statements that come through.
So how do you suggest, so say part-time goes to Coffee Cup to fill up, where we fill up 5-gallon cans. So if we authorize it, do we have an account at Coffee Cup?
No,
I send them, we do our gas through
Brown
brown
jug?
jug, yeah.
Okay, so they go up to the brown jug and they fill up 5-gallon cans and they go in and they get a receipt and they say charge it to the city and they sign the receipt?
Yeah, down there right now, they'll ask, they don't know yet, we get 2 receipts, we get one, they keep one. On their receipt, they write in who it is that picked it up, what vehicle you filled up. So if it's gas cans, they'll write down gas cans on it. And then we take a copy with us, so there's 2 copies, there's theirs and ours. And then they'll send theirs in for when they do the bills, and then we match them up, make sure we match up.
those receipts end up on my desk.
And they'll have an authorized list of chargers?
That's what I would do, is I'd put the list together, go down and say, okay, now, they come in here during working hours with a city vehicle, you know,
That'd be my only thing is that they'd have to verify that they were on a list
yeah,
and that they actually got there in a city vehicle.
yeah. But that's where, yeah, it's gotta be a city vehicle pulling up in here, fill up gas cans or whatever, and going up the trucks, so.
Because honestly, I mean, if you go out there, I don't know whether they look out the window or not. But if they don't look out the window, you know, they gotta put a little bit of effort into it too, whoever's.
Right.
Or what are they doing with gas cans? I mean, are they taking the 5
Back.
gallon?
5 gallon gas cans, yeah, our mowers are, ones we're under in the summer, all gas.
Yeah, but I mean, are they taking the gas cans and running by home real fast, put them in their car, you know?
I've never had an issue with anybody.
Well, that's why I'm asking you, I mean, you would see that with the process, that's.
You'd notice they came back with a bunch of empty cans or a
Okay.
can empty,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're, you know, went down to fill 4, there's, or 5, and
Gotcha.
one's empty already.
That's why I ask you this.
Well, you can certainly do everything in your power to keep the honest people honest.
If they wanna steal something, that's gonna happen, no matter who it is, you know.
At some point, it's gonna come out. You know, you put them on a $10,000 gator, you know, we don't, we spent way less time thinking about that than we are $50 worth of gas.
No, I agree, so,
I'll make a motion, go ahead.
knock yourself out.
Knock myself out. Very good, I make a motion to authorize, part-time public assistance to charge city supplies to, city supplies in town, provided Craig provides a list to said vendors.
My second.
Any discussion?
No cap, no maximum on that?
Do you need one?
I don't know, just wanna make sure we touch
I
it.
think it'll be fine.
Haven't really,
I think it'll be fine.
Alright.
It's my responsibility, I guess something goes wrong.
someone gets crossed out.
You know, if
Audra will
that's,
catch it.
Oh,
Well-
yes, I will.
while we're providing that list to the vendors, it wouldn't be hard to put at the top that these purchases don't exceed,
Yeah,
or if
I
the
could
purchase
say on the-
exceeds X amount, they
To
need
call
to be
me.
calling somebody.
yeah, I could tell them to do that,
You want that, want me to amend it?
yeah.
No, I think Craig can just put that on there.
Okay,
I'll make sure things are under control.
okay.
So Travis doesn't have to worry about somebody going buying $2,000 worth of siding up at the building center.
I wouldn't worry about it anyway, because by the time somebody realized they did that, they'd still be putting it on their house and we could return it different.
Well, you wouldn't read it this way, you wouldn't realize it for a month.
Yeah.
So at the rate we're going through bills. All right, any more discussion? That's about 5 minutes too much, but, all right. Mark,
Yeah.
Travis,
Yes.
Arden,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
That's all I got, unless there's any questions for me.
I got a question. Go ahead, Mark.
Since we're talking about gas, is there a reason we don't have bulk tanks?
It's the same thing I brought up today.
Yeah, I guess I've never, I mean, we do have bulk diesel, gas, we've never done that. I think if you're worried about theft and something, that'd be the easiest way to steal gas, would be in a bulk container out there. You know, like I said, gas cans are, nobody's gonna spend the time walking around with a gas can trying to fill the truck or something. And then the other thing is, I don't know if we would be able to store that inside to keep it protected. If we had it outside, you'd have to have a containment for it and everything else. I'm surprised our insurance company hasn't said anything about our diesel tank down.
Where's the diesel tank?
It's inside the building.
Can you do some research on that though?
I can certainly look
Because
into it.
I think with limited quantities, you don't have to have the spill containment. I think
I can look into it.
under a certain amount of quantity, you don't have to have
I'll do some
the
research on it.
regulations like you do for fertilizer.
I know the last time we had our insurance inspection, he couldn't give me quantities of paint before we had to have a fireproof box. It's like,
So what's the elevator doing at the school? It's totally off the subject, but is that the school's own tank?
that's the school's
Okay.
tank, the way I understand it, yeah. So,
Street sweeping.
Just got done changing and servicing it today, I think he's planning to be out tomorrow with it.
All right, it didn't make the report, and I was like, maybe I missed it,
And
but that should be a good time of year to do that.
Yeah, I know he, like I said, he went through, changed all the oils and everything on it today, and I think he's planning to be out tomorrow.
And speaking of that, can we actually get that on a schedule?
Try to.
Can we try to get it on a
We
schedule?
could try to do it once every couple weeks or something like that, but to have an actual schedule, I mean, we don't know what's going on from when we show up Monday.
I know you don't know what's going on one day to the next and 1 week to the next. But without a schedule, without a every Thursday, we're gonna do 20 blocks. Without something, then it's just whenever you tell them to do it, or whenever they decide to do it.
I know we try to get out a couple times this spring and a couple times in the fall, and then for Jamboree Day Parade, and, but we can look into it a little bit to see if we can.
But we're halfway through April and we just changed the oil.
It's already been out a couple times this year.
It has.
Yeah, it's been out.
Where?
Pretty much all over town. I know they said last time they did it, they hit the whole town,
It's been in
They didn't hit this street.
so.
Could you put?
Yeah, but it's a mess after this rain.
Could you put in
The
your
streets are a
report?
mess right now.
If you could make sure to include that in your report, because I've been thinking the same thing, if we're into April, and I don't,
That's been out.
I've seen it in there.
so.
Just
I've seen it in there as well,
few
but-
weeks, yeah.
You know, and
but I haven't seen it like, hey, it looks like they swept the streets.
see, I remember,
Or not.
because I remember years ago, the discussion that we needed to buy our own. Because we hired somebody to do it twice a year. And we need to buy our own so we can do it more often and whenever we like. But it really doesn't seem like we do it more often.
What we do, but it just, like I said,
Like I said, it
we
doesn't,
could try to set up. a schedule.
perception
Yep.
turns into reality. That's just, you know that, Craig.
Yep.
We have a street, everybody in town knows we have a street sweeper. And if they never see it, then we have a street sweeper that doesn't get used. That's their perception and that's the reality of it.
Well, I'll challenge you on a little bit of that, because if he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it during the day. We're gonna use it during the day, and everybody's working during the day.
That's true.
So, when are people gonna see the street sweeper? They're gonna see it in the evening, right? When they're at home,
You
when
know
they're
what?
moving around.
But if you told them it goes out every Thursday between 8 and 5, every Thursday,
They still,
from 8 to 5,
they're not gonna see it.
but at least they know it goes out every Thursday from 8 to 5.
They'll at least think I did.
So,
Because if you ask Craig right now when it goes out, when's it go out?
I can't give you a schedule on
he can't give you a schedule, but he knows it goes out.
And the reason I think about it, you gotta walk through it too, there's a pile of gravel and sand at the end of the sidewalk.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, where's that coming from? Alley, you know what I'm saying?
it. Yep.
I don't know, even, whether we stick to it or not, I'd like to see, I'd personally like to see some kind
We'll
of,
see if we can.
whether we stick to it or not. Every Wednesday, you know, from 8 to noon, I don't care, just something,
Okay.
so,
Um,
alright, anything else for Craig? Do you have to be licensed to drive that thing?
yeah.
CDL or what?
Yeah, you need a
You
driver.
don't need a CDL.
Just a driver's license?
Yeah.
Every other
That is
Tuesday
not
from
a
10 to
reality.
There we
Mark's
go.
looking for a job.
Now I was thinking maybe odd driver,
Oh, gosh.
Time and a half, right?
They're down to,
not 8 to noon. Alright, thanks Craig. City Finance Officer report.
Alright, I've got at the top, the cash and sales tax revenue, comparison from last year to this year in March. And then I also included all the committee funds, so you can see where we're sitting with those. I also have the bill report, so the bills that we will approve at the next meeting, these are kind of some highlights of some oddities, things that we don't normally have in our, bill report. I also included an attendance chart, from November of last year to, now, basically, and it will include this meeting, but just make sure to look over that. Let me know if there's any discrepancies, if I missed something, if you thought you were at a meeting, if there was a special meeting that was missed, something like that, because that's what I'm gonna pay you off of.
Actually,
Yep.
I did, as you will know, I brought the wrong portfolio. Let me take a look here. And I was gonna check the date. Equalization, was that on there?
Nope, it's not.
Okay.
Should it be? Yes. I will get that on there.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
I should remember something without looking at a note, unbelievable.
Yep, so I'll add the equalization meeting to that, and then everybody's attendance obviously tonight. Was there any other ones?
Put some gold stars in here.
Yep, Ryan is, well, Jeremy not tonight, because Jeremy lost his gold star tonight. Ryan and
Perfect
Scott
attendance.
got gold star.
5 years, never missed one.
Well, they didn't have a special chamber meeting because they weren't on the list, so maybe they don't get a gold star.
4 years.
Only invited meetings,
Oh, I see.
Only invited meetings.
Okay.
gold stars.
And then, as far as the website, we've gotten the first draft back, and I need to schedule a time for us to go over content with them. They are gonna need some more pictures from us, and some of the pictures we sent to them were not large enough. We did find, a zip drive with more pictures on it that are the large enough size, so we need to review those to look for a picture to put in the background, yes.
Yeah, I'm raising my hand.
Are you gonna accuse yourself now?
Well, no, yeah. Is that zip drive, was that the one I gave Jesse?
Yes,
That's what I need to know.
that's the one we were looking
And that was
for.
one of the notes I had in my thing that are sitting at home right now. All right, very good, thank
Yep,
you.
that's the one we were looking for, we got it now.
Good, because we paid $300 for that.
So, we've also set the dates for the park and rec program. I know it's not in here, we also just received dates for the swimming lessons, those are up on the website, so, those have been scheduled as well. I've also put a calendar of events in here. Are there any other questions?
All right, thanks, Albert.
Yep.
City administrator.
Okay, just a couple updates. Nicholson Road project is on my kind of end of it. Larry has got all the agreements drafted. We're just waiting for Stockwell's to put a few exhibits with them, and then we'll meet with the property owners and go over them and let them review them, and then I'll come to you. The right-of-way along Vandermark, I still have not met with Roger Hugo yet. I did get a note last week again from him saying he's still under the weather. So I'm just waiting for him to let me know when he's feeling well enough, and I'll meet with him, and we can kind of go from there and see what he says. Paperless packets, our new IT company, I, talked with them about how we move forward with paperless packets. We talked about getting iPads or tablets, or so we could, scan our documents and then just use those versus having all the paper packets. They looked into it. They don't recommend iPads just because of the cost. I mean, you can go with a tablet a lot cheaper than that. They have done this for Brandon and for Canton, and actually both those towns, and after we talked a little bit with them, they are actually recommending maybe we want to go with a laptop versus a tablet. It would be more versatile than a tablet. I mean, with a laptop, you can organize the files however you want. If you want to type notes on a Word, document, add it to, the file. If you want to add a spreadsheet or whatever, I mean, you've got a lot more versatility with a laptop versus a tablet, you can reorganize stuff and that. He says, cost comparison, you can get a laptop probably the same as an iPad, plus you can add additional memory. So, as we're getting more and more packets, especially with maps and whatnot that are kind of larger files, it's going to be a lot more capability, and a lot more capacity with doing laptops. So I told him to go ahead and give me a quote on that. Do you guys still want a quote on tablets too, or what are your thoughts? Would you prefer one or the other, or do you have any preference?
One preference I have is much rather go, if memory serves me, you mentioned going with a thumb drive versus the cloud, right?
Yes, and that's one of the other things we
Yeah,
talked about.
I would, had some nightmares with going with the cloud, so I love that idea.
Yeah, and then for the how to do it, yeah, we talked about, scanning them, well, first it was scanning them to the server. Well, then if we put them on the server, basically you gotta be in this building to get the document, so that's not gonna work, you're not gonna see the packet ahead of time. We could scan it to the cloud, which is possible, but to get free cloud space, you only get so much of it, and if we have bigger documents, then we're gonna have to start paying for space or whatnot, depending on what we have. It could get costly that way. Then he suggested, well, and we talked about it here, a jump drive, scanning stuff, just putting it on a jump drive, putting basically those in your packets that you pick up on Friday. You can take the jump drive, each of you will have your own loaded on your computer, set up your own file, give the jump drive back to us. The next go around, we'll clear them and we'll put the next packet on it.
I like that, I care less for the tablet, sorry.
Mark, you
I mean-
win. Are you smiling? Yeah,
Because I
he's
have a really stupid question.
Mhm.
This is gonna, everybody's gonna know how little I know.
There are no stupid questions.
So there's 7 of us,
Mhm.
and we would all have a jump drive. And then you would take said jump drive, plug it into said laptop, download the jump drive onto the laptop, bring the laptop and the jump drive to the meeting, and leave the jump drive here to be reloaded.
Right.
Yes.
It kinda looks like this.
Probably.
It's,
Yes, I
it's a
know what
little
these
longer.
look like. I don't know how they work.
Wow.
You're gonna help you.
You wanna join in too?
No, I don't.
So you download from the drive to the computer and then just reload the jump drive.
Mhm.
It's like you keeping your paperwork here, but then turning in your black binder.
I don't know, thoughts on it?
So,
Seems like a lot of work to me. If you can't email it or put it on a cloud, would be way quicker and simpler to me.
Email, once again, maps and that might be a
Okay,
little
send it to
too
the
much.
cloud, then we can download it or open it up.
And we can do the cloud, just,
You only get so much space.
you only get so much space in the
Get like
cloud.
a whatever the hell.
Terabyte.
Terabyte now for
$20.
$20 a month. I mean, that is not
connectivity with the cloud is
inexpensive.
an issue.
Hmm?
Connectivity with the cloud is an issue. For, at my workplace, it is, and it's not uncommon, not to.
No, I don't understand what you mean.
Basically, a lot of our stuff is through where I work, is connected to a cloud. It's called the cloud.
Right.
And a lot of times we go to download some stuff and it's not available or will not download, period. Travis, by saying this, so become funny.
It's called the cloud.
It's called the cloud. It's called the Fox Cloud to be specific. And we've had some issues with that.
We're gonna get the Fox cloud.
We won't get the Fox Cloud. No, because.
Alright, how about we do this? Then whoever's getting the proposal, can they come to the meeting and make
Sure.
a pitch to us?
There you
go. Work?
I'm sure we can have them.
Cause I have a hard time believing that a USB.
We'll have to pay the rates, probably.
Huh?
I'm with Mark.
No, they're here to sell less than what they're doing and sell
You're
us
with-
8 computers.
Nobody's with me on this issue.
I'm with Mark.
Okay.
Even if we could go to a site where we could log in, there's
Yeah.
different
I'm
options.
sure there's
that
different
this comes
options, yeah, so.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could talk about it some more, and yeah, I could think
There's a
things, so come to a
Celion, we have
meeting
customers
and.
that use one that's called the Celion. We go, they send us a link, we go to the link, bang, we download, and we're downloading huge files.
Big files.
Big files.
And then nothing says we can't do
Like
that,
that.
I mean, we can do that, and there's probably different options, so I can just have them explore it more and, yeah, and come to you guys if you wanna. So we can look more into that of how we're gonna make it work. Do you guys have preference, laptops, tablets, or?
Laptop. I'm just saying.
What do
We
you?
might as well be talking about nuclear fusion right now.
We're kind of,
Laptop versus a tablet, which is.
I guess what,
Well,
you know, I mean,
my
I guess
personal
that
experience,
runs.
I use a Surface, which is like a tablet, but it's also,
Right, you can
You
connect it
can
to,
connect it to.
you can connect it to,
Yes.
yeah.
but to do those, they're limited on storage, and that's where a cloud-based comes into effect.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that runs into whether we're gonna use the cloud or use
Exactly.
a laptop, yeah.
Depending on where you're gonna store your
Yeah.
information.
So, I mean, I guess it would be convenient to talk with the
Okay.
person.
And I can have them, as far as the hardware, get quotes on prices of both, and then we can talk about how we're gonna utilize the information, or how we're
I
gonna.
bet a download site's gonna be our best deal.
I have a question.
She shoots us an email with the download site, we bang.
Okay, so I'm gonna springboard off Arden, shoot me a link, bada bing, bada bang, I'm downloading information. So whatever this device is, it's gotta have enough memory to, after I bada bing, bada bang,
I don't
download
think I
this,
said bada bing,
okay, bada bang then.
maybe I did that.
Download this information, it's gotta stay there. Cause when Arden says a link, this is what I hear, a link. You click on the link and the information's there, you close out and the information's gone until you click on that link again. So you would have to click on the link,
And then
download all the information so it remains on that device.
Most of our
If you wanna
customers,
save
are-
it on the device.
to give you an
I mean,
example,
you'll
most of
have
our
to-
customers set up a link when they're sending us a file for 7 to 10 days. They'll send us a link, they say, this file will be active for 7 to 10 days, we go on, we pull everything we off, we save it to our computers, and then when it goes away, we have it.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is
You don't have to
whatever
save it on
device
the
this
computer.
is, and whatever means the information gets to the device, I think it needs to be stored on that device. So you will always have access to last month's information, 2 months' information, because
True.
things from the past always get brought up.
Yes.
And if you can't go back to that information without trying to figure out where the link is,
No, yeah,
I don't care how it happens as long as that information is put on that device. So in my mind, the device needs to have enough storage for at least 1 year of information.
well, there's ways to get around. I mean, you could set up with
I don't wanna get around it because not everybody's as
carbonite
computer
backup, you can
savvy.
do all kinds of things so you have that information.
Not everybody's computer savvy. I won't be the only one here that just crawled out of the cave. And if you give a guy a laptop and you want information on it,
Right.
you need to get the information on the device and it needs to stay on the device. Period.
I'm gonna say that I think we should have the individual that is selling us these devices here so we can explain these comments to them in person.
I'll agree with that.
I'll ask them to tell.
I know I need an easy two mark. What if you lost at the time?
Yeah, my only concern with the laptop is we're all sitting up here with this big screen in front of us. Whereas with the tablet, it's just gonna be here, you know, or even a Surface, something where we're not all sitting behind a wall of screens, is my perception. If you're the audience, all of a sudden, every council member's got their face half blocked by a screen, you know?
Cut a hole in the table and they'll fit right in perfect.
Everybody knows that if you don't wanna be seen, you just. be-
Terry doesn't have that much free time.
Wall.
Yeah,
Got holes in
yeah,
it.
just turn, do this.
Okay, that gives me enough direction that I can have them gather some information, I can attend a meeting.
Does it really?
hopefully some questions.
Does it really give you
Yeah,
that?
good enough.
You're just saying.
So she wants to move on.
Alright, what else you got, Teresa?
The contracts between the city and the HADC and the city and chamber, Larry has got them all drafted now. We're just waiting them, we're gonna take them to each of the individual organizations, you know, the HADC and the chamber for their approval from their membership, and then we'll bring them to the council for you guys to look over. Codified ordinances, I always say we're gonna be doing this, but I'm kinda waiting till we pass these ordinances. Now we just did this pay ordinance with the council. If we do it with P and Z, I like to get that all incorporated into one, so maybe we'll wait till about June or so. But they are all put together by CCOG and they've been reviewed, so. Crestman Drainage, Larry has got that deed ready, I'm just waiting for title insurance, just, as a good practice to have that come through. Once that comes through, we will proceed forward with that deed. Dump site, you guys know this, it's already open, people are very happy that we got that going. Got the conditional use permit, Audra gave me the check today, so we'll get that to the county tomorrow, so just need to be there by this Friday and get on their agenda. And thought that the next meeting, I would put this on the agenda so we can talk about some of the different options or scenarios we talked about at our last meeting. Craig do a little research, I'll look into some stuff so that maybe we can talk about if we get that up and going, are we gonna man it, are we not, are we gonna have cameras? We can continue talking about some of those scenarios. And then Jesse wanted me to bring this up, just a little bit about the chamber news. He wanted me to let you guys know that the chamber is gonna be hosting a job fair here in town for businesses, Hartford businesses. It's gonna be May 9th and 10th. It's gonna be up at the Hartford, event plaza, so you know where the old, Numkey Gym used to be in the corner, that's where it's gonna be held. And if they're a chamber member, if they're a business with the chamber, they can be there for free. But any other business can pay to be part of that job fair too, so.
Has he expanded it? Cause the email I got said it was just May 10th.
This is the information you gave me, I don't,
I know, yeah,
unless they limited, unless they decided they didn't have enough people that they have only on the 10th, but he
This
told me.
was sent, on April 13th, that it says, Hartford Area Chamber is hosting a job fair on Wednesday, May 10th, from 10 to 4 at the Hartford Plaza Event Center.
I know Monday when I was at the Caribou, ribbon cutting, some of the chamber members were talking about doing some different things and some different hours, so they may have expanded it. But I don't know, for sure though, I couldn't say exactly.
This is what he told me Friday, so I put it in there, and that's all I got. Is there any questions anymore?
What's the latest, billboard number 2 and 3 eastbound? They're still naked, right? They're still open wood?
The one, I can't remember what numbers they are, but yeah.
It's to be
The one that we took the text
second and third
messaging off
one
of, yeah.
going eastbound. Okay, Craig, there's nothing on them, right? Did you know that you check the lights all the time on them?
Lights are off.
The lights.
No, Travis is checking the lights. Okay, here's what I'm getting at, just real quick, like, obviously we haven't had much activity as far as those eastbound billboards, right?
Right.
I would like to request an agenda item for the next meeting, for the possibility of, allocating the said billboards to, Jesse for business recruitment. There it is.
Put that on the agenda.
Well, I'll explain more in detail. Jesse doesn't even know this yet either, but.
Okay, to the agenda.
How long on the sign question? Was there any?
I gave it to Paul.
Oh,
I don't know, I haven't heard back from him yet.
fair enough.
And he was just in yesterday, so I didn't need to.
Do we have like City of Hartford stickers when something like that's been permitted, put a sticker on it? How do we
On
know?
signs?
Yeah,
I just do a building permit on it, but, yeah, we don't put anything on the sign, I
Sure.
guess, yeah.
fair enough.
So, but I did give him
Good.
your email, and so he's pursuing that. I do have in the packet hire recommendations, some more. We, were short a park rec assistant, a pool manager, and we're still advertising for additional lifeguards. So in the packet, we did receive some applications come in. Chrissy Levita did, submit an application for an assistant pool manager. Right now, we only have, Amy, of course, is the manager, and then the only assistant we have is Darcy Jensen. Well, Amy does the days, Darcy can't do all the nights and weekends, so we usually do 2. So Chrissy has actually been with the city quite a few years now. She was 6 years as the lifeguard and 2 years as an assistant manager, so she definitely has experience with assistant managing. She's working the CARE program during the day, so the nights and weekends for her to switch off with Darcy would work out just fine. She said she'll take, what hours we can give her. Last time she worked as assistant manager with the city, and last year she was paid $12.25 according to our job description, another quarter of raise, so I'm recommending hiring her for $12.50 as an assistant pool manager.
Make a motion to approve that
Second.
recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? Scott?
Yes.
Mark?
Yep.
Travis?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yep.
And I'm a yes.
The next one, we got a lifeguard application in from Madison Monahan. She worked last year for the pool, she did a good job. We hired her at $10 an hour. I'd like to hire her for a lifeguard at, of course, the quarter bump for our, job description at $10.25. I'd also like to be able to utilize her, and I talked to her about this, as an assistant pool manager too, if needed, because, where Darcy and Chrissy can do the nights and weekends, but they have day jobs. If Amy needs off during the day, we don't have anybody to fill in for her. So say we have a day or two here or there, maybe we can utilize Madison, because she's old enough, she's over 18, where a lot of our guards aren't. We could utilize her for an assistant pool manager. And so, if any time we would use her as an assistant pool manager, I'd like her to get the pay rate of $11.25 for that, an extra $1 for that. And then, majority of the time will be lifeguarding, but if we can utilize her, pool manager, I'd like that option as well.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? For the vote, Art?
Yes.
Mark?
Yep.
Travis?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
And I abstain.
Okay, and the last one is, assistant, park rec. We just had one applicant, we've only had one hire, so we had an opening for one more. Ryan Vincent, he submitted an application, so I'm recommending hiring him at the starting wage of $7.25 an hour.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Travis?
Yes.
Mark?
Yep.
Scott?
Yes.
Arden?
Yep.
Brian?
Yes.
And I'm a yes.
And I just wanna make one quick little note, 2 of our lifeguards are Danielsons, Riley and Sadie. I haven't heard anything from them. I know Jeff Danielson got another position, so I have no idea when they're moving, the kids or anything, so just be prepared, maybe we'll be looking for a couple more lifeguards in the future, so.
Should we just leave it open?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if we can at least just accept apps if they come in, we can
You
leave
need
it
a
open,
motion
and
to leave it
so,
open.
yeah, I would like that.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
My only discussion is, it seems like we really hog-tied Teresa and her hiring. She's gotta get permission to extend an opening.
Well, last year we let it.
I know.
So why did that go away?
That's what I'm wondering. That's the same thing I'm wondering.
Well,
Was our change just for last year?
I assume
Well,
because
because different
councils change
council,
every
yeah,
year.
different councils, so,
Okay.
but,
Alright.
yeah, if you'd like to.
You want to leave it open?
I think we need to leave it open, but,
Well, but I mean, you want to just leave it at her discretion for the summer?
well, that's what, I'd be fine with leaving it at her discretion to hire.
I'll make a substitute motion to let Teresa just hire as needed for the pool, or
I think you
for
just
the
do it
pool,
for the pool.
yeah.
Yeah, I think just was needed.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, that's all I got then.
The reason we do that every year is because councils change it every year, so.
I know. I can't imagine trying to run a business with those kind of restrictions. I mean, you get an opportunity to hire somebody, yeah, hire them.
For what a few people quit.
Too bad the hiring process.
All right, anything else, Teresa?
Nope, that's all I have.
Review amended pool.
So in your packet, we discussed last time, about flotation devices, and it was the council that decided we will eliminate flotation devices per the recommendation of the insurance company for safety reasons. So basically, the only item that was amended was item number 10, and basically it states, we will not allow personal flotation devices now in the Hartford pool, and there is examples of some of them, but it's not an inclusive list, it may include. And then there's an exception that personal flotation devices will be allowed during water aerobic classes and swimming lessons per Amy's request, because swimming lessons, they use the boogie boards and they use the noodles during exercise class, so that exception is in the regulations now too.
Motion to approve the amended pool manual.
Second.
Discussion,
Need an effective date, or is it pretty well effective tomorrow?
It will be effective tomorrow, you guys, you will add it.
Greg, do we have a lift for handicapped people? Can they wear a life jacket?
Other than that, no.
good point.
Might wanna maybe have that as an exception.
I think we have to probably for
Yeah, we should.
ADA.
Yeah, I thought about that, yeah.
Just thinking sometimes sidewalks aren't quite angled enough and we get in trouble for that. I'm thinking if a person that's handicapped can swim, could get in trouble for that. So,
Yeah, I think we can add that to the exceptions, and I can bring it, I can reword and bring it to you next meeting. We're not ready to open the pool yet, so.
add that to the exceptions list.
Or could we just make a substitute motion
Or
to,
you could, just make substitute motion to add it.
I'll just make a substitute motion to,
Can you substitute Keel's motion?
what's that?
Travis needs to make that.
Travis made the motion.
They gotta do themselves, but they can make a substitute
Oh,
motion
substitute
themselves.
motion, sorry.
Just make a substitute motion to, approve the amended, pool manual, but also add that, flotation devices are allowed for the handicap, what do we call that? Or as per ADA
Handicap
compliance.
people.
Yeah, I'll second that.
I'll look out some other, have it worded now.
You got where I'm going.
Yep.
It's like every pool now.
Any more discussion on the substitute motion?
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Travis.
Thank you.
Art,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Scott,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes. You forgot about it.
all right.
You just get Phoebe Black.
All right,
Too much.
moving on to mayoral proclamations.
And Jeremy has reviewed all of these proclamations and approved them, so I can go ahead and.
I make a motion to approve Mayor Proclamation Arbor Day, April 28th, 2017.
Second.
I make a motion to approve Mayor.
Oh, you gotta vote on. No,
You got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Go ahead, Travis.
I make a motion to approve Mayor Proclamation Silver Star Banner Day, May 1st, 2017.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I make a motion to approve Mayor Proclamation Health and Safety Month, May 2017.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discuss planning and zoning board compensation. This has been on the agenda for about a month. And I'm just gonna throw something out there. I am not going to make the motion, but I'm gonna give you something to chew on, just to get the ball rolling. And I think we need to double it across the board.
So right now they get a $200 annual salary and then $25 a meeting pay is what the P&Z board compensation is. And they get paid at $25, if they meet as a P&Z board, and then sometimes they have variances and they meet basically as the board of adjustment. So if they're a different board, if they have a variance, they get an additional $25. And you'll have 2 or 3 of them a year, not a whole lot, but.
That wasn't a motion, Mark?
Nope.
So if they, when there's a variance, they'll come in as a P and Z, get paid, go in as the.
Double their meeting pay, double their annual salary, period. If they meet twice, that's double what they used to get. It goes from 50 to 100 for 2 meetings.
I'm talking about though.
Yeah.
The same night.
They'll meet the same night, but they'll come as the P&Z board, do that business, and then if they have a variance, they, basically recess as the planning and zoning board and reconvene as the board of adjustments, and so technically they're a different board, so they get $25 for that too.
So they get
So they'll
$50
get $50
that
for the night.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the current way, gotcha. And typically it's scheduled twice a month as well.
Yep,
But-
just like you guys, they meet.
That's not typically the way they do.
But they get paid once a year versus twice a year, like you said.
Well, and there's quite a few times that they don't have a meeting because they don't have.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, then there'll be a
that's what I
couple,
meant,
3 times a year that they don't have to do, just because they don't have agenda items.
Make a motion to, change compensation for planning and zoning of Hartford, South Dakota, annual salary of $400, and the $500 per meeting.
What?
What?
$500?
Did I say $500?
Yes, you did.
$50. I'm in, yeah, no kidding. 50, did I say 500?
Yes, you did.
550, I almost said it again. $50 per meeting, including variances. Sorry about that.
What do you mean including, no, we got a motion, I don't understand.
I assume including the board of adjustment pay.
Yes.
So when they come in, like now they get
That's
25
really
and
all.
25, they'll get 50 and 50.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Any discussion,
So they can make $100 then.
if they have.
If they have that.
If they have a variance on,
Board of
where they have to
Appeals.
meet as the board of adjustments.
Which, how often would you say that happens?
3 times, a handful of times.
It's, yeah.
A variance.
25-30% of the meetings probably. I don't,
Yeah,
honestly, I was on it for, I'm gonna show my ignorance. I do not remember getting paid as a P and Z member and as a, board of adjustment member. For
you
whatever
did,
reason,
they
I
were
looked at-
listed, kind of like
Yeah.
how you list the special
I
meetings,
just
board
had
of
forgotten that,
adjustment.
I'd forgotten that. So. We're giving them a pay raise. And they're,
That's cool. I don't see the variance thing very often, and with the fact of lack of, agenda items sometimes, it's.
Yeah, I guess I agree with Scott, I don't see the variance an issue, it's not something they can control.
as you can see, I wasn't on it for the pay.
Well, that's what I'm looking at, but at the same time, why do we pay them once a year? What's that behind, it's just.
What was that in ordinance?
Is there,
We have to change that too.
It's a Christmas miracle when you get that
Actually, it's a January.
check. Right, exactly.
They don't
That's what
get it
I'm
till
saying.
January,
You don't
so.
get it, you think
you don't get
you
it for
forgot about it,
Christmas.
and then it shows up.
why don't we,
And this current motion doesn't have anything about when this pay starts.
And-
and I,
we-
that's where I'm going with it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We can't change when we pay them, because that's in ordinance, so we will have to change the ordinance if we
That's
wanna
an
change it,
ordinance.
yeah. And which we can do if you guys wanna do that, but that'll have to be another meeting.
I think she's saying the effective date on two.
I think it would make sense, just twice a year.
Well, we'd have to change.
That's a separate issue.
I understand that.
I think once a year is, I don't think once a year is the issue.
Okay,
You know, I never heard a complaint, out of planning and zoning about when they got paid.
does it make it more labor intensive for you?
Well, of course it would, I would have to do more, why would you have to do an extra payroll? And depending on when you decide to do it too, as to if it coincides with your pay or not.
I would say it would, but, I'm open for your guys'
I
points.
mean, currently I pay you guys in November and then May, and I pay them in January, so I'm doing 3 extra a year anyway.
My opinion is we double the pay, we make it effective 1st of May, and we don't change the payroll.
Right.
schedule.
I would agree with that.
So,
I don't think the payroll schedule even needs to be talked about tonight. And we can easily, well, number one, we gotta hash out the dollar amount, because if the dollar amount's not gonna be doubled, then we need to start there on what the number is. When we figure out what the number is, then we'll figure out when it's accurate.
so on average, if they have 24 meetings, you know, obviously, they don't typically, but with the pay structure we have, it's $66.67 a meeting is the proposed.
No, I'm proposing $50 a meeting instead of 25.
He's
I'm adding
averaging,
everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The average is irrelevant to me. Well, I mean, the thought,
It may be irrelevant to you, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm
Well,
saying,
average is average, I mean, one year's gonna average higher than the next year, but honestly, if you want somebody to meet as the Board of Adjustments, when you're talking about variances in drainage ways, backyard setbacks, front yard setbacks, and you're expecting that board to be the bad guy and tell their friends and neighbors in this town why they can't do it, why it's a bad idea, and you're giving them $25 to do that? That's a joke.
I would agree with you, and that's why I bring up the average, is 66 a joke as well?
I think you just look at it as you just doubled it and you move forward from there.
I think you do, but also, I mean,
Again, I don't think those people are on that board for the pay.
No, but on the other side of that coin, a lot of their meetings are an hour long, whether they meet once or twice. If you look at the minutes, they're in and out, in and out.
It is an expedited meeting.
So if you're averaging 66 for an hour, that's not bad.
Pretty good wages.
I completely understand, and that's why I brought up the $66. I didn't think, well,
And there's a lot of meetings that if CCOG didn't bring something to us, probably won't be meeting then either, as a planning and zoning. So,
Yeah, they'd average $66 a meeting, and that is without the variances, without the Board of
yeah,
Adjustments.
that is.
So I think that's more than fair.
And that's why I bring it up.
Well, I'm sure, I mean, it's no different than us as council people, we do stuff outside of the meeting,
Oh, yeah.
just like I'm sure they are. I mean, I think it goes, it ain't so much per hour where you're actually getting, because sometimes we spend 4 hours here when we shouldn't, and sometimes we spend an hour. So, I mean, L average is L.
Yeah, I'm not looking
Or
at
an
it
hour and
as
a
an
half.
hour.
It should only be an hour.
let's vote on this.
Any more discussion?
Can you please reread
I still need a date in the motion.
No, you don't. You can have that in another
When
motion.
you start paying,
Okay,
Next motion.
sounds good.
So this
Whatever you say,
motion was,
Mr. President.
yeah,
Oh, okay, so the motion is to change the P and Z compensation to $400 annual salary and $50 per meeting, including the Board of Adjustment pay with Monahan second.
Could one take that motion
when it says including the Board of
You,
Adjustment
you
pay.
could, yes.
That's just, they get $50 for that meeting, that's the way I take that.
That's what
Yes, I can see that, if you want me to change that.
Well,
I give you permission to do
we
that.
wanna make sure that it's got.
I'll put what your intent was.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
no problem.
The intent is
$50.
per meeting as they meet as planning and zoning, and per meeting as they meet of Board of Adjustment.
Yep, per meeting for one, per meeting
Both
for the
planning and
other.
zoning board, or board of adjustment
Yeah.
board.
Everybody understand the motion? Any more discussion?
I use a variance because she put her.
Any more discussion? Scott,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Harden,
Yep.
and I'm a yes. And I'm gonna make a motion that it's effective first of May.
Second.
All right, who wants it?
Barb can have it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, I'll bring that
Moving
change
on.
for you.
Discuss proposed committee liaison position. Travis Keel, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I asked Teresa to add this to the agenda, because they're, you know, I made the motion to put it into the budget, last year, and it's in the budget, and we're, middle of April. And, it'd still be there at the end of the year if we never talked about it, and, the position would just be, nothing, all for naught. So, in your packet, you saw, Park and Rec Director that Spearfish has, and, one of my fellow council people said, we don't have as many parks as Spearfish, and I would agree with that. We don't have the scenery they have, I would agree with that. But I left that meeting and I stayed up, you know, I couldn't sleep, it kind of irritated me that, somebody had asked me, what the heck are you doing, you know? And so I came up with a long list of things that a park and rec director could do. And again, that's not really what the proposal is, that was a liaison position, but I think as we've gone through this year, we've seen a need for something in regards to the sports complex. And so that person could coordinate and promote wrestling tournaments with our school. I see them working with our school. I see them working with the Humboldt Baseball Association. I see them promoting. I see them working with our community ed. I see them working with our park and rec program in the summer. Our pool committee. Our pool. They can facilitate basketball skill camps, basketball tournaments. We've got a transit bus. Now, I don't know how available that is, but perhaps that person could organize field trips, day trips to other areas, Midco Pool, Great Bear, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, I just said Great Bear, Midco Pool. They could do things for our adults in the community, organize trips to Vikings games, Twins games, different things like that. Indoor soccer leagues, swim outings, like I mentioned for the Midco, that could be for adults and for kids. This time of the year, let's see, you could help with the T-ball, coach pitch, youth baseball, flag football. We got Palisades and we got Blue Mountain close by. They could put groups together to do outings for rock climbing, rappelling. It'd be another, we talk about quality of life. It'd be one more thing that Hartford offers that enhances the taxpayers' quality of life. So that is, if you want to springboard off of just that park and rec director, that person could also organize practice times for soccer fields, softball fields, baseball fields. there's a long, long list of stuff that they could do. Now, if you just look at it as a committee liaison position, we've basically been given notice that our sports complex committee is, you know, kind of tired and wore out. You could task that person with, you know, we had, as a council could say, this is our direction for that sports complex. And task that person with making sure that that committee stays focused on that direction. And then there's all the other committees, which I'm not as familiar with, so. It's a big old bubble that has a lot of stuff in it, and do we wanna pare it down to something that resembles a job description? Or do we wanna just, you know, just leave it in the budget, and at the end of the year, we say, maybe next year, or maybe not at all?
I guess Travis, my first impression, I like your concept and stuff like that, but, I see this more as a summer type thing. We've utilized interns in the past, and I think that possibly, unless there's an extended list of stuff that goes outside of the parameters of June, July, and August, okay? That, you know, we kind of maybe ease in this a little bit slower, and there's, I'm sure, a ton of park and rec majors out there that need a jump start, okay? And so to possibly look at using this as an intern, whatever the wage may be, but really kickstart, like you said, the sports complex. I don't think it's too late for this year yet. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I mean, to find it this time of year already. But I'll be honest, I'm leaning towards an internship, paid internship, for the summer months of June, July, and August. You know, let them get the, you know, and then if we get to that, you know, this has happened twice at my shop. We got to the end of that internship and we hired him full time. It's happened twice. But due to the fact that this is new turf for us, I'm just a little gun shy on throwing it out there for, you know, an entire year type thing. But I like the concept, I like, you know, the time frame, June, July, and August.
My only reservation to that would be, we'd be burdening Craig and Teresa with more, they'd have to come up, I don't know who else would come up with the work for this person to do, you know, or.
Well, that's gonna be our job too. I mean, they'd have to be self-motivated. We'd have to have a job description laid out for them in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you know, and let them run with it. Now, I'm gonna turn it over to this side of the table, and you know, Teresa, Craig, any inputs? I don't want to sound rebuttal, but an internship versus, you know, a full-time type employee. Be straight. You
I
don't
guess
get this
in my
necessary-
mind, you just gotta boil down, what duties do you want this person to do?
Right,
though?
right.
I mean, that's where you gotta start with, what is this
Yeah.
person going to do? And yeah, what is that job description gonna be?
Right.
That's gonna be kind of the starting point of, then, what's the best way to fill that, you know?
I have a silly question for anybody in this room. I mean, I think Augustana has a Parks and Rec major. Is that,
Well,
does anybody know?
It's possible, because Jesse got pretty excited when I talked to him
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
So,
I think
he
Augustana-
feels strong about it, and I think he sees there's an opportunity to generate some revenue for the
His
city.
wife,
His wife?
his wife is the one that does it. That's her major.
That was her
Or
major?
not his girlfriend,
Fiance.
excuse me.
His girl, so, Kayla was a, Kelsey, all right, well.
Sports.
I'm gonna pronounce your name wrong, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was sitting beside her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, and I'm on tape, aren't I?
You are.
Delete that, would you? Okay, so she's a Parks and Rec major.
Sports management or something in
worked for the
So
national.
it does exist. All right.
Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah, you're right on. So, okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I wanna touch on something that Travis brought up twice, I believe, and that's the budget. And I will tell you, without a doubt, at budget time, I've seen this many, many times before, Travis. If you put it in the budget, that shows intent to do something. At budget time, the conversation goes like this. It goes, well, let's just budget for it in case. And then 6 months later, the conversation goes, we put it in the budget, we better do it. This happens time and time again. So this year, at budget time, when somebody wants to put something in the budget, if you vote for it, that shows intent, whether you intended to or not.
I agree, and that's why, since I made that proposal, my intentions were to do something with it. And I started that process a month ago, so it's not 6 months, so throw me a small bone here.
I voted against it.
I know.
Because
But throw me a bone for not being that guy at the end of the year that's saying,
no.
hey, we got the
no,
money, we gotta spend it, because I'm not
I
that guy.
strongly agree, but I voted against it at budget time because I thought it was a poor idea then. I still think it's a poor idea, but it got 5 votes at budget time. So regardless of what your feelings were at budget time, by voting yes for it, you showed intent. Either that, or you just wanted to move on.
I'd argue that we showed intent. I think we showed that it was a possibility, it was a good idea, and we'll put it out there. It was something we wanted to explore. Now, maybe that's not politics in its norm. Maybe that's exactly what's wrong with politics in its norm. So, just because we did put this in the budget, doesn't mean we have to do it. Doesn't mean it shows that we're intending on doing this. 5 people agreed to put it in the budget. Doesn't necessarily mean that 5 people are gonna say, yes, we are gonna do this. Or 4 people even are gonna say, yes, we are gonna do this. Just means we're gonna look at it. It's a possibility.
Travis thinks it shows intent.
And maybe that's his look at it.
Well,
It's not my look at it.
to Travis's credit, he's brought this up a lot lately. So, we're either gonna keep on kicking this can down the road until it snows again, or somebody's gonna make a motion, and it's either gonna pass or it's gonna die. Or we can just keep putting it on agendas, and we can keep talking about it.
I think, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and if Craig wasn't talking about a new rubber tire backhoe for $127,000, he wouldn't get one. So, you're right, it's not gonna go away unless we make it go away.
Craig's he's got a plan when it comes to budget time too, though.
He's got some intent.
He puts about 20 things on there and he hopes he gets 5. And he puts that backhoe on there for about 7 or 8 years till you get tired of looking at it and buying one.
That thing was only 10 years old. Alright.
Ain't that right, Craig?
I think there's a lot of opportunities missed in this community, and I think, if we get the right job description, we can capture some of those.
I would be curious after listening to your list of things, Travis, about the, how to say this, potential toe stepping, let's just say that. if we want somebody to organize with the school and, road trips. I mean, we have a chamber economic development, we have a chamber board, we have a school board, we have activity director at the school. I'm just curious as to how we do this. So now we're saying city council's gonna plunk a person in, kind of throw it into the water. How is that gonna affect these other people? If we don't try it, we won't know how it's gonna, but as I listened to your list, the first thing that came to mind for me was, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna be pretty politically astute if they're gonna try to jump in the water with all these folks and get stuff to happen without stepping on people's toes, as we see this last winter and spring, how that happens.
Yeah, and I don't see this person, taking over, stepping on toes maybe, but helping promote initially. When I go to the City of Hartford website and I wanna find something for my kids to do,
Yep.
I usually go away disappointed. You know, there's not a direct link there to what's really happening in this community. And again, as we continue to grow, and you've got more and more new families coming to Hartford, those groups, those kids get splintered because they get on any team that they can find, because so-and-so that they work with, oh, my kid's on this team. And so how do we bring these kids together and keep them West Central kids, from the time they're little, T-ballers, to the time that they're seniors in high school?
Can I throw something out there? Maybe the school again overloaded too, helping out, doing the activities.
Yeah.
And maybe having the city come in and bring another idea in would relieve their side a little bit. And I like your idea.
That's a great point when you're looking at a school that can't pass a tax opt-out and they're looking for budget cuts. The last thing on their plate, the first thing to fall off their plate is gonna be something that I foresee this person doing in the future.
You're on the right track.
I like the idea, I mean, I really do, I just, the timing, to me, is what stinks. I mean, with Mickelson, I thought we were gonna have another couple, maybe a couple fields to work with up there, with the committee kind of folding. That's my issue with it, is kind of where I sit, I guess.
My rebuttal to that is we're a big enough group and we've got enough assets that if we can only focus on one big project at a time, we are gonna be slow to grow.
That may be the case.
There's 1,300 kids out there that are in our sporting events in this community. Them are the ones you wanna hang on to.
I agree, man.
Be creative. Takes a creative person to put tournaments and stuff together. I mean, I've run a lot of them for my years and stuff. And you can make good money, break even. And we had, here a couple of years back, and I brought up this to our sports complex guys and stuff as the work kinda got started. We had 10 flag football kids, or 10 teams went to T. And I'm sure the rest of you've heard that Crooks has started their groups out there. So why can't, but you gotta be creative on tournaments and know how to run tournaments and stuff like that to make something like that work, and that's what that person does. I've got a daughter lives in Mitchell. They go to City Hall, they do volleyball, they do basketball, they do softball, they do soccer, they do BB gun, they do bow and arrow, and they go field trips and stuff to Sioux Falls and stuff. That's all done through that person, and you pay a fee. You pay a fee, so if you make enough money to pay for that position, everybody in this community is gonna gain from tax dollars to buying a pot, buying a pizza. So it takes a creative person and stuff, but I'm sure they're out there.
Teresa, it's not even Jessica. I keep going back to the job description, so I'm gonna shoot this at you, you tell me I'm full of hay, okay? Between you and Jesse, between now and the next meeting, do you think you could, and Kelsey, maybe, just come up with a synopsis of a job description?
I'm gonna stop you right there, Scott, because to put a job description in Teresa's lap or Jesse's lap, I think is, I don't know that Teresa knows what this job's supposed to entail any more than what Travis just read off.
Well, that's what the think tank's all about.
So why does she get in the think tank? This isn't her idea.
I agree. She's the administrator side of it. Okay, then
But how-
okay, let me stop.
No, you stop. How in the world can a city council ask the city administrator to draft a job description for a job that I'm not sure she knows what it is?
Well, and that's a good point, and I had a valid point, that's why I treated it with kid gloves, okay? But one thing I didn't throw in there yet is that I'm gonna stick with a 3-month internship, okay? So, encapsulates it a little bit. Do we have time as a council to sit there and draw it up? Probably not in a timely manner anyway.
If you do an intern, who's gonna guide this person?
That would probably go under,
No,
I'm gonna throw this out there. If Teresa can find the time to pull every city council person's pay in the 12 community area, and their Mario pay, and she pulls all these other resources together for us, but this, because it's not your favorite topic, is just too much to ask of her.
You produced a job description from Spearfish. She can go online and pull pay from every community online. So why don't you tell her what other communities have this job description, and she can go on their website or call them and get a copy of it, and then she'll have her plan. But you haven't told her what other communities have this job other than that piece of paper from Spearfish. If you want to compare pay to a job description.
We don't know how many other communities have South Dakota Warren until Craig brings it to us. So,
Do you know what other communities have this job, other than
you know what,
Spearfish?
I bet with about an hour-long search, I'll put it together, and if that's gonna help expedite, then that's what I'll do.
We've been talking about it for like 3 months.
Wow. It hasn't been anyone's pet.
It's been your pet.
Yeah, except for mine. So we're at the point, and you touched on it about 20 minutes ago, do we as a council want to continue to show intent for this, or do we want to let it die? Because I'm not going to spend another minute on it if there's no support here.
If I was pushing this, if this was my pet, I would have already drafted what I think the job description should look like. I would have already put together a list of what communities have this job.
But I'm gonna stop you right there, because it was a proposed committee liaison position. It wasn't a park and rec director position. And so, if that's the direction we wanna go, then as a council, I'll do more work to get it to that point. See what I'm saying?
You're the one pushing it, and now I just heard you say you don't know if you're pushing a liaison position or a sports rec position.
Well, the budget wasn't for a sport and rec director. Am I correct?
Right, I took the committee liaison
From your motion.
from your
From the
motion,
motion.
yeah.
I don't really think pointing fingers at what somebody should or shouldn't have done or whatnot. I mean, we're here now, let's take it from here, I guess, is where. But
I would imagine, as an example, if Travis or any member wanted a sports rec, whatever, instead of a liaison, we could make a motion to move the funds from that committee liaison position to XYZ job position, if we wanted to. So it's really not a matter of what the title's gonna be.
The label's not.
It's a matter of what do we wanna do? Do we wanna do anything or not?
Exactly.
I personally see some benefits to what Travis is saying. But I got no meat and potatoes to really discuss. We've got nothing, we're discussing nothing right now, really. Hypotheticals, part-time, full-time. And so we do have to have something in front of us to debate in order to take action. We can keep kicking the can like the city mark, but, and that's all we'll do if we don't bring something to. So obviously, Spearfish has a park and rec director, guarantee us Sioux Falls probably does. Beersford, I'm pretty sure does.
T does.
Right, so I'm sure we can find resources and make up our own position however we see fit or however you want. So if this is gonna be your pet project, then I think it comes with your thoughts into a job description, whether you're copy and paste from others, you know, work with Craig a little bit on maybe there's responsibilities that Craig has in the parks that he doesn't need to be watching over anymore. Whether it's the maintenance of the facilities, somebody promoting tournaments, running tournaments on the weekend, because, you know, it's not gonna be a Monday through Friday type position. I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it, and until we have a description, we're really debating on nothing. So I would like to see us move forward with something to talk about.
I would only say, I made the motion for the committee liaison, it was voted on. I brought this job description, just to bring it back up. But I thought I had a council support, so if it's my pet project, and not something this council sees, well, I got other things. I got Vandermark, that's my pet project.
Yeah.
I'm trying to enhance the quality of life. I'm trying to look for things that the whole community will benefit from. And so if I don't have the support of the
And I would
council.
like to see our multi-million-dollar sports complex get used.
Exactly.
And so if it takes us to spend $45,000 a year to bring in tournaments and grow that and increase tax revenue, then I think that I'm gonna support it. Somebody has to do it. We don't have a sports complex committee anymore to promote it. I would think that would be something they might wanna do, but, you know, we also threw $100,000 at them this year and they turned it away. So,
Why doesn't somebody make a motion to have Teresa gather information from surrounding communities that have something that resembles what you're after, Travis?
Fair enough. Teresa, I make a motion to have Teresa gather some information from not just our surrounding communities, southwest Minnesota, northwest Iowa, communities our size, and with the title of Park and Rec Director for this council to discuss further.
a second.
Is there any more discussion?
Would you be objective to, and I'm just throwing this in there, you know, where I'm gonna go, full-time versus just the 3 months. And if you want to object, I understand. I just have a hard time seeing how we're gonna keep that person as busy outside the summer months.
I think we could teach them how to run a snowball.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think at this point, we need to look long-term.
Thinking out loud, sorry.
Just
I'd like to
because
see both sides.
I agree with you, I think in this court, though, I think we need to look long-term just because it's too late for this year.
I think did we have a second?
Yeah, we did.
Just for the matter of time, the topic at hand, there's motion and a second on the table. The topic at hand is whether we're gonna direct the city administrator to gather information. And I don't think at this time, we need to discuss whether it's full-time, part-time, days, nights, weekends, holidays. That can be discussed. Those issues can be handled at a later date if we decide to go down this road. Because that's gonna be another half hour of hypotheticals.
Yeah.
The motion on the table is to have the city administrator gather information. Period.
I think you're gonna need to decide what this person's gonna do before you decide, yeah, you know, do you need a full-time, part-time, all year long, part of year round? I think we'll gather this information, then you guys can take it from there.
I think those
What the
job
person
descriptions
should
are
do.
gonna answer some of those questions for us.
I think some of them will too, like, for example, if, okay, let's say we call Spearsford Fish, they've got a full-time partner, you know, Parks and Rec. And we call Beersford and they have a part-time, okay? I mean, if you could compile both of those, you know, bring both of those forward.
I thought we're supposed to be a similar sized community.
Oh, okay, you're right.
That's where
I
it
apologize,
says-
I'm just being.
Yep.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, no.
That'd be greatly appreciated. I mean, and so I'm with you.
Let's call the vote.
Yeah.
Arden,
Yes.
Travis. Yes. Brian,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark. Yep. And I'm a yes. Moving on to correspondence. Arbor Day Foundation names Hartford Tree City, USA.
Just put that in the packet, this got sent to the paper, we're named Tree City USA for the 25th year in a row, so.
Outstanding.
There you go.
Another gold star.
Man, we're giving our gold stars.
Any visitors that wish to be recognized tonight? All right. We do not have executive session. Teresa, no executive session. Does anybody have anything for executive?
No.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.